The WeWork disaster. Let's have a look. Good evening, everyone. I'm Florian Heise, and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. I've got my new Superstein, and I thought we would have a look at the WeWork disaster. Now, if you're not familiar, WeWork is a recent unicorn that was about to go public with their IPO. Now, it had the innovative, cutting-edge idea of being a landlord. And hiring. Here's the secret. Here's what they did. They would secure long-term leases on commercial premises, then chop them up into small pieces, spend a fortune on the fit-out, and then lease those out to smaller enterprises. Okay, so they're taking on a big long-term liability, investing a whole lot of money inside this asset, which they don't own, and then renting it out to a whole lot of little people. And then the owner of the building could replicate the home model on the floor above. Now, it seems that everyone thinks that WeWork is some innovative tech company, but this is not an innovative idea. Seriously, it isn't. I've worked with clients who are probably the least innovative people you could imagine, and they were doing the exact same thing. It's just a way to lease out your commercial space. Particularly here in Brisbane, we've had a lot of, B-grade office stock at very low occupancy rates. So they would do whatever they could to get you into a tenancy in the city. So if the WeWork IPO, it's now fallen apart, and the CEO, Adam Neumann, is left the company. And he was apparently quite an eccentric fellow. So this is written by James Hall from news.com, and I thought we'd have a look at this and then a few other things. Because we're seeing this more and more, these unicorn type of, tech startups, everyone's just chucking money at it again and again and again, hoping to kind of, cash out or make a good return. And have any of them been profitable? Has Uber made a profit yet? Just think about this. We're in a crazy, we really are in a clown world. Up is down, down is up. Good is evil. It's all in reverse. You don't make money. You make money by borrowing it. It's insane. So, controversial WeWork founder and former chief executive Adam Neumann will walk away with nearly $2.5 billion from the embattled office space sharing company, despite its dramatically shrinking value and about 2,000 employees losing their jobs. Japanese conglomerate Softbank Group has proposed a package to rescue the once surging company, according to Bloomberg, which includes Mr. Neumann selling about $1.46 billion Australian dollars worth of stock. That is damn. The former boss will also be paid a $270 million consulting fee from the Japanese firm. I mean, he can't complain, can he? He cannot complain with the deal he is getting. This windfall is coming as WeWork's value plummets from an estimated $68.6 billion to its current valuation of just $11.7 billion. I mean, that is an insane valuation. And I mean, we'll just bring this up for comparison. From the, Australian Observatory of Economic Complexity, the exports of Australia are $243 billion. So this company was valued at what? A quarter of the exports of our nation. Just think about that, guys. All they are is a landlord business. Okay? What innovation is there? What's stopping other people from copying it? They're good at marketing. And what happened? If they're leasing out to a whole lot of smaller businesses? And just think, yesterday we looked at earlier the ATO. Debts owed to the ATO are higher than ever. And a big chunk of that is smaller businesses. What happens when the economy gets into trouble? And WeWork is exposed in, all over the world. What happens with a global economic issue? People are going to cut back. They're going to do what I do. Save rent. Okay, moving home. Or I'll cut back. I won't have a dedicated office. I'll just have a hot desk. Or I'll do something else. Mr. Neumann will also get a $730 million credit line from Softbank to help pay off his loans to JP Morgan Chase, according to the Wall Street Journal. Well, this is the deal. So Softbank want control as opposed to JP Morgan. The catch, and arguably good news for Softbank, Mr. Newman will walk away from his position on WeWork's board. So, how did it get here? Up until a few weeks ago, Mr. Newman was piloting WeWork towards a giant initial public offering that would have made him a multi-billionaire. But as investors fell off the hyped company and its launch on the share market was delayed, Mr. Newman's bizarre and hugely costly decisions left his position as chief executive untenable, and he resigned last month. In September, some bankers had touted WeWork's valuation as high as $95 billion, which would have made the former CEO's 22% stake worth an eye-watering $20 billion. So nearly half our export economy of our nation, this landlord business. So what does that tell you about these bankers, guys? I know, they're so good at predicting the future, and the central banks are fantastic at managing the economy, so it's a finely tuned machine. We never have any problems at all. I mean, come on. This is like Afterpay. I guess if you can get in, you get in on the pre-sale before the plebs buy in, before the idiots dump all their money into it, sell at the height and jump ship. So, poor guy, he's not a multi-billionaire. But the company had to continually cut its valuation target over doubts about its prospects from potential investors and is now under pressure to postpone its market debut. Wild antics of Rockstar CEO. Since the social network took us behind the curtains of Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg's rise, the wild antics of young startup pioneers has been synonymous with parties, warped ambitions, and lots of money. But Mr. Newman's dirty laundry list of bizarre incidents and booze-fueled anecdotes reached mythological proportions, as detailed in a recent report in the Wall Street Journal. The long-haired CEO once spent an international flight on a private jet smoking marijuana, and when the plane touched down in Israel, crew members found a cereal box stuffed with weed. When the plane's owners found out, he ordered the crew to fly home immediately to avoid any drug trafficking offences, leaving Mr. Newman stranded. The casual drug taking may explain some of his other rumoured thoughts and ambitions, such as his hopes to live forever and wanting to be president of the world. Can you imagine him as president of the world? With the way things are going, I could see it happening. Wouldn't be a good world. I could see it happening, though. His eagerness for parties is well known. Apparently, he would walk around the office barefoot, listening to Rihanna, and once hosted a summer camp for employees outside of London, which was a music festival-themed party where bartenders handed out free rosé by the bottle. Other parties were more inappropriate, like the time Mr. Newman reportedly fired 7% of his staff, and once the announcement was made, trays of tequila shots were handed out, and Run DMC's Daryl McDaniels performed a set as employees danced to It's Tricky. Yeah, you can see how that's, when you fire 7% of your staff and everyone's getting pissed and you've got money to waste on a, performance artist. Yeah. The unusual behaviour extends to Mr. Newman's wife, Rebecca, who allegedly had multiple employees fired after meeting them for only a brief encounter because she didn't like their energy. The Wall Street Journal details plenty more, so the question really shouldn't be where did it all go wrong, but rather how did Mr. Newman end up ruling one of the world's most hyped startups? Well, that's just the unicorn culture that we're in at the moment. And what happened to the public offering? Last month, it was reported some investors were worried about skepticism surrounding the company's business model, and wanted its planned IPO to be pushed to 2020. Well, yeah, it just seems so easy to replicate. After WeWork filed to go public recently, it was revealed Mr. Newman had been paid a staggering $5.9 million by his own company. And the reason for the payment? The use of the word "we." Yes, his own company licensed it to WeWork. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he is doing. He is good at milking this bloody thing. The payment came about when WeWork reorganized and rebranded as the We Company in January ahead of its initial public offering filing. Mr. Newman, 40, owned the trademark We through a private company, We Holdings LLC, which then sold use of the word to WeWork. The controversial move was panned by a range of experts, including New York University marketing professor Scott Galloway, AOX, Dan Primack, and Triton Research Incorporated CEO Rhett Wallace. So, what do you all think, guys? I mean, this is in the news. This is a sign of what's happening. It's not a replicable business. Are other unicorns going to follow? What happens if the rest of them, start folding? And what's Softbank? Let's have a look. This is from Investopia, the ones who are taking control, apparently, of the company. Softbank has been sweeping tech and startup headlines in recent months. The company seems to have an investment in just about every major startup, with interest in everything from robotics to satellites, artificial intelligence to computerized enhancements for human bodies. The company has taken on an aggressive investment campaign, which not only ensures its activity with and support of many hot startups, but which also consistently brings Softbank itself to the top of many news feeds. What exactly is this company and who's behind it? So it's a Tokyo-based telecom company. Softbank got its start in 1981 in Tokyo. Founded as a telecommunications company, Softbank now has a hand in a number of different areas, including e-commerce, finance, broadband, marketing, and more. So why are they getting into the landlord business? The company has a portfolio including Softbank BB, Gung Ho Online Entertainment, IDF Frontier, and more. In recent years, it has gone on a spending spree, buying up numerous smaller companies and initiating investments in many others. In July of 2016, for instance, Softbank purchased UK-based chip manufacturer ARM for £24 billion, with an eye towards continuing to develop the Internet of Things. And just last week, Softbank announced that it will buy 2 additional robotic companies from Alphabet. First, it bought up Boston Dynamics, the developer of the iconic Big Dog robot, and then it bought Shaft, a less well-known robotics outfit. So, here you go. Here you go. You can see, and I'll link to this if you want to read through the full thing, but you can see, what it is. Why are they getting into WeWork? Why is a robotics and telecommunication companies getting into WeWork? Have they fallen for the hype? Have they fallen for the hype? Are any of you, do you have WeWork offices? What is it like? I've spoken to other professionals who almost jumped ship for it because it was free beer as well. My first ever experience was in a shared office space, and there was a hippie guy from QUT who set it all up. And it was above an all JB Hi-Fi in the middle of Brisbane, and it was run terribly. It was run utterly terribly, and they expected us all to form social groups and all this stuff, and we donated things to it, and they destroyed it, and we got out real quick, and then it went under. So, if a hippie guy from uni can run it, set something up, he's not smart enough to make billions, like our good friend here from WeWork. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about it. Is this going to have an impact on some of the unicorns coming out of Australia? Let's wait and see. Like, share, and subscribe. If you like this content, want to help me produce more, I have a Patreon and Subscribestar. I appreciate everyone's help. I also have affiliate links where it doesn't cost you anything. I get a small reward, and it helps the channel. Take care, everyone, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.